Today we will talk about a program which is like a simple calculator, like a simple programmer's calculator. So let's begin with it. First, what first let me explain it what it will do. It will take two numbers from the user. It will also take the operation to be performed from the user, and then it will perform the operation depending upon the input. So let's initialize two numbers. I am taking the double data type here, so our program can read both integers and decimal values. It will be able to read decimals and integers both, not just integers. I need two numbers and a result variable to store the result. And I also need a char loop. It's like, as you know, char data type can store a single what do you say, a single character. So here I am declaring a oop variable of char data type, so it will be able to store any single character. You should know this by now. So let's ask the user for the first number. And as you can see, I have asked the user for the first number, and I'm gonna store it into num1. And as you know, I need to use the function next double. So now it will read a decimal value from the user. Right, it will store that decimal value into num1. I need to do the same for num2. So I will store the next value into the num2 variable. Now what I have to do is ask for the operator. Now for operator I need a char input. I need a single character to store the operator. As you know, there are four basic operators: plus, minus, multiplication, and division. All these four operators are single characters. That's why I'm using the char data type. You can also use the string to store the operator. As you know, string can store everything. You can use string to store the operator, but char is more convenient if you want to store a single character. So I recommend char. So I'm gonna take another input from the user. I'm gonna prompt the user to enter the operator. So now I will store this input into this variable, oop variable, and I'm gonna, if you remember, I told you how to take a single character input. First, you need the object of the scanner class, which is input in our case, dot next dot char at 0. So now it will take whatever user will enter. It will take the first character only. It will take the single character from the user. So now our inputs are done. So inputs are completed. So in this section it was all about input, and this was about declaration. So we are done with this part. So now we are gonna use some if statements. As you know, there are four possible operations: addition, subtraction, division, multiplication. But we only need four. We only need to we only need one operation to happen at a time. So we, as you already can see this, that we need that only one operation will be performed at one time. So that's why we need if statements. At one time we want to do either addition. For example, if the user enters the plus symbol, we will do the addition. If the user enters the division symbol, we will do division. So that's why we need if statements. Since we don't want to do all four of these, we want to do only one depending upon the input. So let's add if statement. So I'm gonna say that if oop equals, as you know, single characters are written in single quotation. If oop equals plus, so then I'm gonna store, num1 plus num2 into the result variable, right? So now I'm storing it, addition into result 2. Similarly, I'm gonna add else if oop equals minus. In that case, I will do num1 minus num2. So this is pretty basic stuff. So similarly, I'm gonna add another else if. You can add as many else if you want. So I'm gonna add it, multiplication one. So now I only have one symbol left, that is division. So I have done all three cases. So first our program will come here. It will check whether uh, oop is a plus sign. If user has entered plus, it will skip this. It will execute this statement and it will skip all the next ones, all these else if, both of these else if blocks, right? But if the user hasn't entered plus, if user has entered minus here, it will skip all these. The first one, it will only execute the second one, and it will skip the third one as well. So for the last case, I can either do a else statement, else is equal to num1. I can do this because I have covered all three cases, and I can do this one. But notice that user can enter any single character. So suppose user enters, let's say 5. User enters 5 as a single character, or suppose user enters H. In that case, division will still happen since it is in else block. If it is plus, minus, multiplication, one of these will be executed. But if it is any a single character ever, this will be executed. That's why I will not use the else block here. I will use else if oop equals division, like this. So now I have covered all operators, and in the last case I will simply say that your input is invalid. So now we are done with this is the if else block. Now our program will continue on like a normal sequential program. So let's print the result, whatever it will be. So I need to initialize it. So let's enter our first number. Let's enter 5 and let's enter 4. And now it is asking for the operator. Let's enter plus. So as you can see, 9 is getting printed here. So this condition is true. Therefore, this is executed and all other else if else blocks are skipped. So this whole portion is skipped, and it will jump straight here over to the next statement of the program. So similarly, let's enter some decimal values. I told you earlier, it can store both. So sorry, let's enter 4 here, let's enter 2.0 here, and let's enter negative. So as you can see, it is giving us 2.2. So now let's try one more. Let's divide 14 by 7. Let's enter the division symbol. And as you can see, 2 is getting printed here. Since 14 divided by 7, this case will be executed. So I want to show you another thing. What if the user enters the wrong operator? Suppose the user enters G. User enters G or any of any character. Let's write F. Why not? So let's press enter. As you can see, in this case, invalid is input is getting printed here. But you have probably noticed that result is also getting printed here. So we don't want that. We don't want result to get printed if the input is invalid. So we have multiple solutions for this. We can create a variable boolean invalid. Let's call it default false by default. And in this case, we need more statements. We need more than one statement. So therefore, I am adding these brackets. So let's make this boolean invalid variable true. Now, let's use another if statement. This if statement is a new if statement. It is not linked with these above. Let's use another if statement. Let's say that if invalid this. So what it is doing right here, that we are telling our program that if invalid is true, that true is stored in invalid, then execute this. But we don't want that. We want this statement to be executed when invalid is false. So I'm gonna write this equals false. So here, or you can change this with the logical operator, this logical operator, since this inverts the result. Let me write here, yeah. So this inverts the result. It will make the true condition false. So if our invalid variable has false stored into it, this will be printed. So let's try again. Let's enter first number, second number, and let's enter a single character like J. As you can see, only invalid input is getting printed. Since invalid variable has true boolean value, therefore this condition will get false, since we are using the not logical operator, which will invert true and it will make it false. And since this will get false, this will not be executed. Let's try another case, simple case. Let's add two numbers 4 1. Let's add them. And as you can see, oh, I accidentally pressed this. Let's try once more. So as you can see, now result is getting printed here, since this condition is true. Our value was false, and we are using the not operator, which made the false value true, and that's why result is getting printed here. So this was the program. You can modify it. You can add more options here, more if else statement. You can add percentages, modulus operator. Make sure to try that. So that's it for this video, and thank you.